Hey, I'm Ray Starling. I work at the North Carolina Chamber.
I'm Laura Killian. I'm the Associate State Legislative Director at North Carolina Farm Bureau.
Last fall, Laura and I had the opportunity to begin working on a statewide strategic plan for agriculture. It was a project funded by the North Carolina Golden Leaf Foundation, with those dollars collaborating with the North Carolina Chamber Foundation and the North Carolina Farm Bureau to take a hard look at our industry and try to figure out what's next. How do we strategically position this entire industry in our state for success?
So our team traveled across the state, conducted focus groups, one-on-one interviews, and reaching out to counties all across North Carolina to have a discernment phase, if you will, on the project.
That discernment phase really was about asking questions to the folks involved in the industry. We had an industry-wide war game. We had what we called an Imagine Ag Day. We interviewed over 300 people in focus groups and traveled, frankly, to over 2/3 of the state's counties, all trying to discern where is it that North Carolina Ag has the most opportunity and where is it has the most risk.
So the culmination of all that leads us to this next phase, phase 2. And this resolution phase starts in August and will go through January of 2025. So Ray, do you want to go ahead and explain what that means?
Yeah, so again, the first phase was about discerning what the challenges were and what the opportunities were. Phase 2 is now going to be about, since we've identified some of those, how do we work through them? So we're planning to establish over the next few weeks what we call working groups that will focus in one of 6 areas that have been identified as a result of our communication with the ag community and as a result of the blessing of the steering committee of the NC Ag Leads project. We'd like to now take a moment and kind of walk you through what those 6 different working groups will be focusing on.
The title of it is called Harvest, and the first working group is Harmonize Land and Resource Use in a Growing State. So focusing on addressing land and resource challenges across North Carolina, farmland competition, and water storage and diversion and things of the like.
The second focus group, working group, will focus on aligning the technology and the innovation community that we have in the state with our producer community. What we heard a lot during phase 1 was that those two things are not connected as fruitfully as folks think they could be. We'd like to do something about that.
The next group is Reinforce Farmer Support Systems, and this is going to focus on equipping farmers and agribusinesses with sufficient safeguards against disruption. This would be on the policy and legal fronts.
The fourth working group will focus on an issue that we heard a lot during phase 1, which is really to make farms most successful requires a business mindset. So working group 4 will work on developing a value across the industry of having a business mindset, particularly on the farm. That speaks specifically to farm profitability.
The fifth one is Empower and Equip the Agriculture Workforce. This is focusing on pursuing alignment amongst our educational institutions when it comes to ag education, working with community colleges and other ag systems in this process.
And the 6th working group, the last one if you will, we've called it Streamlining Market Access. In other words, how is it that we get our North Carolina products into the market, whether that's locally, across the state, regionally, or even internationally? How do we do that more efficiently than our competitors in other parts of the United States? How do we get more value add on the farm? How do we address vulnerabilities in those markets for our producers? So all of these working groups will be led by strong leadership that will include some guidance and input from Laura and myself, but each of them will have a leader in charge and will assemble a group of people to address these challenges within each group.
And we're going to do that by providing teamwork and leadership along the way, and everyone that is involved in this process really is to lean in and be engaged in the entire phase. So we're really excited about it, and you haven't heard the last from Ray and I, and we will be involving some of you in the near future.
We want your help and we look forward to getting it. Hope all is well. Be in touch with your questions.